The only thing that's stopping any of us from having the life that we want to be having is the fact that we don't believe that we are having the life that we want to be having. By this I mean, when we look around in our day-to-day life, we take that as proof, as evidence of our worth. What we believe we are, what we believe we are worth, what we believe we can or cannot have is what shapes the inspiration that comes through in our minds that we can then start using as inspiration to start taking action to having certain things. So many of us think too much before doing. Instead of doing, we think. We rationalize, we come up with all these ideas, we conceptualize so much deeper instead of just deepening and integrating into the inspiration. When you have an image in your mind, and this image is a life that is completely different than what you are currently experiencing in the physical world. That is source energy saying, hey, if you go down this path and if you just stop thinking and just start doing the things that are required of you to manifest this experience, you'll have it. But we start conceptualizing, we start identifying, we start fantasizing, and instead of just doing, we just spiral mentally. Even if it feels like an upward spiral, it's just a dopamine trip. It's not real. You get off on this dopamine trip because your brain, your mind does not know the difference between what's real and what isn't real. What real is relative, right? Real is subjective. That's what trips so many of us up, and that's what stops us from actually having what we want. We don't take action. We just fantasize because it feels like we're having it. We feel productive. It's an illusion. Usually when we are doing this and we're getting tripped up in this state, that illusion is fueled by the illusion of us believing we are flesh, believing that we are the human, the identity. What are things you identify with? A lot of us identify with being people who aren't going to have a lot in life, aren't going to be successful. A lot of us identify with this idea that we're going to be just like our parents, or we don't want to be like our parents, but we don't realize how much fear is underneath that. Even if your parents were wealthy, even if your parents had all of the physical things that made life seem like your life was better than others, maybe you resent your parents, whatever it may be, a lot of us are carrying beliefs inside of us that actually stop us from taking action. You can look at somebody who is super rich and they seem really happy and content in their life, and they are living out the physical dreams that you have, and you're like, okay, well, if all of this manifestation stuff is true, if all of this law of attraction stuff is true and spiritual stuff is true, how could a person like that? Whoa, you're judging them. Whoa, you have a belief system. Whoa, you have a belief system about what you believe somebody wealthy looks like or behaves like, talks like, acts like, lives like. Whoa, that's a great mirror for you in that moment. The reason why, let's use that same example, that person, let's use like a rapper or somebody as an example. Let's use somebody like G Herbo or 21 Savage as an example. These are two men who were in the streets. Do you know why they made it? Do you know why they are financially well off? Do you know why they look like they're just so happy now? It's because they were just doing. They weren't thinking. And when you are just doing without thinking and overthinking, and you have this image in your head and this idea in your head of what you're going to go towards and what you're going to accomplish, and then you just allow that inspiration to push you into action, you're not thinking, you're not conceptualizing, you're not fantasizing, you're not doing all those extra things. You're just getting up every single day and doing and showing up and doing what is required of you to have that life. You're in a state of presence. You may be doing other things when you're not like showing up and pouring into that journey. But when you're showing up in that journey consistently and you are dedicated and committed to it, you are in a state of presence when you are not thinking, when you have no thought. So many of us are addicted to our thoughts that we get in our own way before we even give ourselves the chance to materialize the conceptions within our mind that came from source energy. Something in you is telling you that you're not worthy. Something in you is telling you, this is foreign to me. I'm not used to showing up every single day for the things that I truly want. I showed up, it didn't work. Yeah, but you didn't go long enough for it to actually materialize. You allowed it to remain a concept. When we receive these thoughts that feel like these big goals and dreams that we can have, and we certainly do have as long as we show up for them. When we receive these concepts, it is the beginning of birth. You conceive a baby. The moment of conception is the moment your body begins to completely nurture that concept of a life. And as it nurtures it, all day, every single day, without giving any breaks. It's just showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up, nurture, 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 pour into that, pour into that. The fetus begins to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until you reach full term and you birth that baby. Pregnancy and birth of a human is the purest mirror of how spiritual birth works in any regard, manifesting in any regard works. If you can understand it and see it and realize it's a mirror, you will understand what needs to be done. You don't need to think about, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make sure I send nutrients to my baby today. I'm gonna make sure that I'm taking the folate from over here and giving that to the baby and the zinc. You're not doing that. Your body is just doing it. And that is what we are doing non-physically. So the more identified you are, the more concepts you hold of yourself and of others. The concepts you hold of others is merely a reflection of the concepts you hold in regards to yourself. The idea of self that you believe you are, which is so far from the true self. It's just the polar opposite of it. The concepts you hold of yourself are the things that stop you from manifesting what it is that you desire. These thoughts and inspirations you get are not random. They are things that you have. There are so many paths and so many directions we can go in our reality if we so choose. Now, they're chalked up to just two big different things, right? Different things. There's an unconscious life path, and I have the light on the charger. I hope it stays on. It gets messed up a lot. Anyways, so there's two main paths you can go on. You can also go down the path of neutrality, but there's two main paths that you can go down. Consciousness, unconsciousness. You are going to be receiving thoughts of unconsciousness. Most do. But are you going to entertain them? Because all that those thoughts really require of you is to just do nothing. Be comfortable in your discomfort, comfortable in unconsciousness, lower consciousness, comfortable repeating cycles, comfortable neglecting yourself. That unconscious path that's what that can look like. A conscious path is you gotta work. You gotta get up and you gotta do things. It's the act of, I'm receiving the feminine, this inspiration, and now I'm going to be present while I do. Because when you are present and you are just doing, you are just following instructions, you're like, all right, source, I hear you. I got you. I know what you want me to do. I know this is the true self, by the way. We're going to act like it's apart from the identity, because it is, but we're going to act like it's apart from just like it's just other being that has no direct correlation to us. Okay, I know what you want me to do. I'm gonna do that thing. I'm just gonna show up. When you're doing this, especially when you're following a higher calling, a calling from higher consciousness, you're not going to have that many thoughts about it. This idea didn't come from you. This concept didn't come from the identity. This concept didn't come from the victimhood. This concept didn't come from the ego. And so when a concept is planted inside of you that is from higher consciousness and you just show up for it, you're not going to be accompanied and bombarded with all of these lower frequency thoughts. When you do, they're more so sensations, but the higher consciousness, because you're serving higher consciousness, keeps calling you higher and upward. And in this is a higher state of presence that you are embodying, that you are walking in, that you are existing and being in. You get this inspiration, this calling, you know what needs to be done. You don't need somebody to tell you what needs to be done. And if you are finding ideas and finding instructions from others, it's because you were called and aligned to seek out more information, collect more data from other variations of consciousness, different human beings, different environments, whatever it may be. Yes, to have what you want, know that you already are all that you need, and know that if you received an impulse and an inspiration, it is already yours and you can have it, but you need to be showing up for it. There's too much slacking off going on. There's too much identification going on for you to have what you want. That is what's stopping you from having what you want. And again, there's millionaires who, because when we're talking what we want, a lot of times it usually is financial abundance. We're talking about in the 3D, in the physical world, the world of density. It usually is in regards to more financial freedom, because with that comes this sense of freedom and abundance that you are, and you just are seeking out a tool that can allow and help you to experience that fully. without any limitations. So we're all just seeking mass abundance to match up with that which we know we truly are. Yes, there are going to be people who are super well off, and sure, they are also in joy and whatever, but a lot of them don't have true peace, because you don't need true peace for that. Like, that's not a requirement for abundance, for financial abundance. That's not the requirement. It's not required that you are enlightened and I knew that was gonna happen. It's not charging, that's why. Spiritual growth and like true peace are not the requirements of manifestation. It's not. What is required is just showing up when you get that idea and thought in your mind, that desire in your heart, and just showing up for it and not identifying with all these things and putting all of your energy into your mind. You are now putting energy into this dense world and you are showing up for it here. You are carving your path. It's like you're digging in a mine. Like, this is a very dense realm, right? And so we are also aspects of density. When we are just trucking forward and moving forward, we're moving through literal vibrational density. And as you are like smashing into a mine, you are going to get down to that gold. It's that same thing. We are smashing through dense energy. Our realm is a very dense realm. So when we are trucking forward, moving forward, taking action, we are breaking through that dirt, breaking through that stone, and getting down to the gold. That is how you do that. And now you're doing that by just actually showing up, as I've said so many times already. It's that simple. Do not conceptualize, do not identify. Your job is to just show up for it and do what is required of you. If you are not willing to do what is required of you, you also have to be okay with the fact that you're not going to receive that physical experience that you are wanting to have, because you don't actually want it. You're not willing to push through density to receive it. And that's that. This is my first video that I truly recorded without so much anxiety and so much thinking. It felt really natural for me. For the most part, I'd say this is something I'm going to continue to do. I really enjoyed making this video. I believe that it came out the way that it needed to come out for my first video today. And whatever it sounds like is what it sounds like, but I'm just thankful that consciousness allowed me the courage to do it. I'm thankful that consciousness has been calling me and guiding me, and I'm thankful that consciousness has put bravery in my heart, because one thing I am is brave. One thing I am is the embodiment of love and the embodiment of consciousness. And I'm just so thankful that I even, there's the light again, it's fine. But I'm just so thankful that I even sat down to make this video. Yeah, and if you're still here, I'm glad you're here, and I will be posting another video, so I hope to see you there. And if not, that's okay too. Yeah, I'm thankful. Thank you.